I'm the ILP advisor for this class. I'll be brief because I have a class right now. But basically, I'm just here to tell you that I'm here to help you with your ILP stuff, so to make sure that it goes as smoothly as possible for everyone. I don't have much to tell you right now. There will be links on iLearn to make appointments with me. And I guess I could just tell you a little bit about myself. I'm a CST major, and I'm a sophomore. And I haven't chosen a concentration yet, but that's like while I'm watching walks on the beach and stuff. So I'll leave my email up here if you have any questions for me. All right. And I think that's all. Thank you.
Hello. Good afternoon. I'm glad we still keep about 90% of the students. So how's your semester? Now you suppose kind of ease into the semester. Any of you have a major concern with your classes, bathroom, cafeteria? Okay, let me know. I want to make sure that I can channel your worry or your suggestion to the right place. So, really, all classes are doing fine? Okay, good. So that's our plan today. We're going to take about 10 to 15 minutes to talk about what's a capstone. It's a very important process towards the end of your study. Then we will spend about half an hour to do the group. So I put everyone into, I think, 18 different groups. And I would like you to discuss 3 things in that half an hour. Know your team. Try to know them as much as possible, because you never know that one of the team members could be your business partner or partner, period. Many new business are starting in college. So try to know that even the team member might be very different in terms of expertise, but it's a good idea to know a diverse set of friends. So the topic we'll talk about is that among your team, you want to talk about your capstone and maybe seek some collaboration in the future. And also, I want the team to come up to conclude 3 time management strategy and 3 study strategy that you will actually implement this semester if you haven't done that. Then about 1:15 we have the faculty presentation, Professor Kate Lockwood. So she's going to talk to us about herself, about her study experience, but definitely talk about the game development concentration in the computer science program. Okay? So that will be the grand finale today. 1:35, hopefully about 1:35. I have to leave to go to a meeting in Salinas. That's why I'm tired. The Salinas, the one of the largest employers is HSBC. Used to be Capital One. They have about 850 people processing credit cards. They left town last month, so 850 people are laid off. So the mayor of Salinas wanted the university to help them, to use their space, to come up with new projects so they can backfill those positions. So I'm going to go there to brainstorm with them. If you have any idea, let me know. So far, I'm going to go and listen, and hopefully we can help them to put in an entrepreneur center or connect the Silicon Valley technology to the agriculture. My hope is that they can use the extraction of all these grape seeds and peels, create some magic medicine, and put it in my forehead and grow hairs. That's a multi-billion-dollar business. That's why we have to leave a little bit earlier. So that's our plan. Is that okay? Glenn, is okay. So first I want to kind of plant a seed in your brain that the capstone is very, very important for your study and for your career. Can someone tell me what is, literally, what's a capstone? Let me see. Trevor? If you look up dictionary, what's the definition of a capstone?
A project?
No, it's not a project. Literally, what does that mean, a capstone? Not here. Okay, good. What's your name?
Jeremy.
Jeremy?
Yeah.
Okay.
Is the stone they put at the top that is
That's right. You want to build a big arch, and the capstone is the last piece of stone. You put it there to make the whole structure solid. So if I do a quick Google search, say capstone, and I want to search for image, and they all look pretty bad. Let's see. Okay, so maybe. Well, these are all capstones, not that hard. But the idea is this one probably is the most correct. Well, it looks pretty bad. Okay, let's just use this one. So the capstone is that middle stone in that arc. That last one stone. Before the stone, you have to put all the support structure. But once you put the stone, everything else can go, and that structure will stay. And that structure, every building block of that arc is one of the classes, one of the project. But at the end of your study here, that capstone will culminate the whole structure. Okay, so that's kind of philosophical. What is a capstone? So here we do capstone. On my observation over the last 15 years on this campus, the IT/CD capstone, being the computer science and CD, are by far the best capstone on campus. Okay. So we are really proud of that tradition. It's a very laborious process, both for you and for faculty advisor. So let me pick the brain here. Nathan, so on this campus, do you know what is a capstone? What is a capstone project?
Not exactly. Basically, it's just like your final project, I guess.
It is a senior project, right? So Chelsea, when people outside of this campus say, "Well, I know you have the whole big hoopla about capstone project. What it is? How would you explain to them?"
It's a final project, kind of starting our transition to the real business world. To show to potential companies we're going to work for what kind of work we can do.
That's pretty good. So let me define it from my perspective. It's a showcase. That's good. It's if an employer come here, we do have a lot of them come. They will kind of stay in the back. Usually we use this room, and sometimes we do use our own 118, but 118 become too small. So usually in this room, the room will be packed with parents, kids, and corporate executives. Some mom will be sobbing because they're so proud of their kid. And each one of you will come here, take about, depends on different year, 5 to 10 minutes, tell the audience this one big project that not only culminate your study here, but one of the employer back there said, "Wow, I want Bernhard to do that for my company." Okay, so the capstone hopefully is the ending of your study here, one big project in your concentration or emphasis, but also it could be a very similar project you actually would do the day after you graduate for the real company. Okay, so that's kind of the idea of the capstone. So it is the big thing. Let me tell you the basic structure. From this semester in 300, you start to think about what is the general area. Do I want to do a network capstone? Do I want to do a security? I want to develop a game. I want to do a website. I want to create an app for Android, or I want to design a software that can find a better website than the Google search. or so something in your emphasis or your concentration that can provide a real value to the world and to your future career. Okay. So you want to think about just basic domain. You don't have to know all the detail because you should know. Then it's a one-year project. So for most of you, if you study here full-time, your beginning capstone will be almost exactly a year from today. At that time, 3 weeks into your senior year, you have to already have a clear project. Hopefully a client, we're not going to require that, but the idea is that you all have a client outside, or maybe a faculty deal with the client. You have one semester, in that spring semester, 2013, that's right, 2013. You have a semester to build a full proposal, probably about 20, 30 pages, analyze the product or service, look at the current market, who is already doing that, what's the need in the company or society, what is the tool you're going to use, what is the timeline you will do your capstone, and what is the kind of milestone or deliverable. Then that's the kind of the first 3 weeks you decide what you want to do. The middle, about I would say 8 weeks of that semester, is you write a proposal, you do the research, you talk to the industry, you talk to your partner if you have a group. At the end, about 3 to 4 weeks, you produce a prototype to kind of show the faculty this thing is doable. Okay? So at the end of this, the fall semester next year, you have a proposal, you have a kind of feasibility study. Then in the spring semester 2014, that's the semester, if you study full-time, that's the semester you should graduate. You have that semester to finish building the project. You put together the presentation. Usually we require a poster and a oral presentation. Then you write out a final report. Then you have an evaluation process. People will test your website, test your gadget, or evaluate your business idea. So at the end, that day, probably determined is usually the third Friday morning, or sometimes more than the morning, will be here, and you will showcase your capstone to the world. Okay? So many students, after they graduate here, 3, 4, 5 years, if you go there and say, what did you learn in the action script or web design? Often they will say, I don't know, I don't remember. But most of them will remember the capstone experience they had. That adrenaline, that big presentation is a crucial part of your education. So you should start thinking about what is that one project you're so excited and actually doable that you want to do at the end of your study. So the purpose not only to, so other people graduate from other similar programs from other university, they have a transcript, they got GPA, they might have a small project or research paper. But here, in CST, especially in School of ITCD, you have a very professional, large project. Okay. So how many hours do you need to put into that effort? So the idea is you put minimally 100 hours in the first semester to build a proposal and prototype, and another 100 hours in the second semester to actually produce the project and present it. So minimum a 200-hour effort. Usually it's about 300 to 400 hours. So it's a very substantial. An important thing for you to think about that is once you have that project in your brain, every class you take has a lot more meaning, right? Instead of saying, oh yeah, it's on the ILP, I just have to do it, I really don't know why I'm taking it, but someone told me I have to do it to graduate. But once you have a capstone, your class becomes a lot more meaningful. Say, oh, I want to take that programming data structure class because I will have to use pretty sophisticated data structure in my final app. Or you take the visual design class, okay, I have to learn all the visual, all the color theory, all the typography, so I can produce a website or an identity package for a big client. Okay. So the capstone idea, you should start thinking about now. Question about capstone? So far, we want to encourage the team-based, but you can do it individually, but the team probably no more than 3 or 4. I think a perfect capstone will be, for example, a game development project, right? 2 computer science students will do the engine and do the programming, and 2 CD students will do the gameplay and do the visual. We had a few projects like that. It was wonderful. Okay? Or you have a website, you want to encourage the CD student have a sophisticated website, you want to enlist a couple of computer science students to do all the Python or PHP or Ruby on Rails program for you. So I would love to see that integration, because that's how real companies are done. Because you have to have the front end, the user interface, make it usable and pleasant. You have to have efficient back end to make it reliable and functional. So that's the capstone. Okay. So let me see. Justine, have you thought about your capstone?
I just don't know what I want to do yet. I figured I'd figure it out the more I learn.
A kind of a very big domain, what would that be? Are you going to do a network security capstone? Maybe?
Maybe.
Okay, so the sooner or later you have to decide. My understanding and my experience is that it doesn't come to you. You will not sit there and one day say, wow, yes, I decided. You have to seek what you want to do. At the end, you have to decide. So might as well do it early. Dana, what do you think?
Network Against Security. I'm helping to do one to moderate Princeton Community College. They use iLearn.
Oh,
sometimes they get these denial of service attacks. And we never found out about it until Monday when we came in, because there's nobody in the office during the weekend. I would like something to alert us, hey, you're getting a denial of service attack and people can't log on.
That's good. That's good. So that would be a great project. To probably have a utility server in the front end to notice you or even some other authority that there is a attack. Right?
You can just do a rate data card that will actually email him certified. Right?
You have a partner there.
Like there's equipment that will just email you with rates.
That's right. You can bring a little the daemon server to kind of continue updating. So people handle hundreds of servers. They have this dashboard that each server is a pixel, and if it's all green, you're happy. One of them are kind of flashing red, you know there's a problem. So there's a lot of tool already there. Okay. Let me ask one more. How about Freddie? What do you think? What do you have in your mind? What kind of capstone you want to do at the end of your study?
I haven't done it. There is a volunteer nonprofit organization. Anything you want to work with, maybe create some kind of program thing to help out.
A program, a software program, or more of a website, a program. Okay, good.
I just wanted to let people know, as you work with your professors, you'll find out a lot of the same ones for your classes. And a lot of times, if you do good in the class and they see that you're doing good, they'll throw internships your way, and a lot of times they'll have good ideas for your capstone. So as you're going through the classes, if you get to know your instructors, they provide a lot of help in order, that's from my experience anyways, in order to find different capstones that are possible.
Yeah, some of the best entry-level jobs is the company, they don't just want to advertise in Monster, or they will call computer science professor or CD professor and say, I really need an outstanding student. That if you are outstanding, but you didn't engage your faculty, you didn't do a great capstone, faculty doesn't know you are that good. So the capstone is one good way to connect with your faculty. Okay. So before we conclude, any question? Leanne? Any question? You're good? Have you thought about what's your capstone?
A little bit. I think I want to make a game.
You want to make a game? What kind of game?
Maybe like an Android app or something.
On Android?
Yeah.
Okay, sure. The game is that kind of one great software that can incorporate multiple disciplines. So I would love to see a few games. What's your name? Jacob?
Yeah. I'm interested in doing something like disaster communications, like, for example, something, being able to deploy communication networks very quickly in a situation where there's nothing that, or something along those lines.
There is a open source software that's supposed to do that. I did a research, 4 years ago, and that software was done after the big tsunami in Sri Lanka. So there is a software, but I don't think it's updated. So you might want to update that software or deploy that software and do a case study. Good. So you want to think about it. Again, I want to conclude this. It doesn't come to you. You need to create that vision. Okay, you need to create the vision. The worst is that at the end of your study, you go to a professor and say, "I have no idea. Just assign me one." That's fine, but I would love you feel passionate about a project. Okay. Good. So I want to take about half an hour for you to together with your group. Let me see. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So this is my plan. The group 1 and 2, you will gather here, about standing up here. Each group should be about 5 to 6 people. Some of them maybe only 4. Then group 3 and 4, you'll gather kind of between the first table and the second one. And from that. Okay. So you all know your group number, right? No. Okay, so let me show you right away. Don't move yet, don't move yet. So when you gather, I would like you to know your team member. Spend about 10 minutes. You all have to decide what, you have to come to a conclusion from your perspective. What are the 3 most important time management strategy and 3 most important study strategies? So let me show you your group on the screen. So if you don't know your group, you can access your group from here, this way, either, or you can come out here and look at your group number. So you guys, girls, Chelsea, what are the names of your team members?
Jan, Michael, Alfredo, and Carlos.
Is she correct? I have no way to check. So she can randomly give me 5 names. Good, thank you. Ernest?
Dana, Jacob, Mario, Ben, and Alex.
Is he correct?
Yeah.
Good. Well, I trust you. Scott?
Larry, Roberto, Cassie, Philip, Gerardo, and
Good. Brett?
Cole, Noel, Alex, Tyler, and Zach.
Very good. I'm going to go to the back. And Tara?
We've got Thomas, Tabor, Justine, Jacob, and Sam.
Good, thank you. Why are we doing this? This is not a club or I want to infuse that social connection into your study. Okay? It is important, and doesn't matter you like it or not. If you know people's name, they believe you like them. Okay? And that name to you doesn't mean anything to you, but mean a lot to him. Okay? So you want to be successful, train yourself, you meet someone, you remember their name, or if you really couldn't do that, make every one of them put a name tag in front of them so you can address them. It's important. So next time when I would recommend you try to sit together, but it's a crowd classroom, so I'm not going to require that, but it's a good idea to sit together. Let me give you kind of a preview what we're going to do with the team. There are two minimum things. First is that from this point on, when you find the 2 or 3 other journals to comment, I want you to pick at least 2 in your team. You can still do others. At least 2 in your team. You should comment on their learning journal. Second, let me show you a set of likely topics. So each team pick 8 topics. Well, I will let you pick 3 that the team would like to do a research project towards the end of this semester. And of the 3 topics, I will let the other team to pick 1 for you. Okay, so you provide some value to the other class. So at the end, the team will propose 3 topics you're interested in doing research and presentation. The class will pick 1 among the 3 to assign to you. You will prepare about 10 to 12 minutes presentation to talk about that topic. These are the topics I'm interested in, but you don't have to pick them. But these are kind of timely topics. For example, there's a whole trend about MOOC. What's MOOC? M-O-O-C? See, you don't need to know that. It's a massive open online courses. Okay? Stanford has the AI anyone can take. About 100,000 people took it last year. We have a few students here participate. There's Stanford, MIT, Berkeley. They all have a couple classes like that. And CFB, especially in computer science and CD, we are thinking about picking 1 or 2 topics that assign our faculty to do one of those MOOCs. Okay, so that's one topic that some of you might be interested. Question?
If we may digress a bit, can I ask your opinion of those courses?
My opinion of the courses? The reason why I want someone to do the research is that I think it is a trend. It's not a fad. I think it will be, probably some of you within the next 2 years will experience a class that use the MOOC content. So the interesting thing about MOOC is that it's not just an online video. They put in a lot of technology behind it. For example, they will have, say, 10,000 people take the same class. They will notice there is a quiz. Almost everyone failed that particular question. Then they know their content doesn't cover that topic well. Or they can see that particular topic, people take longer than others. So there's a lot of research and rich set of data can generate from MOOC instead of just another like Khan Academy, you just go there and watch the video. So I think it won't take over the college education, but there will be, if you take 120 units as your undergraduate, I can definitely see maybe 20% of that is using the MOOC model. Okay? So that's something you might be interested in. There's a big case, the San Jose court awarded $1 billion. Yeah. A lot of zero anyway. To award to Apple because I actually have a Samsung phone. The Apple say the square and rounded corner is a pattern. Yeah, it is. And there's a feature when you go to reach the end of a screen, and it doesn't go further, it will just bounce back, give you a visual signal, you reach the end of the page. That may be a good pattern. So this few pattern it's being fought all over the world. In the US, it's kind of concluded in the first round. Samsung lost, but Samsung, who's behind Samsung? Google. So the war really is not only between Apple and Samsung, it's between Apple and Google. So there's an interesting topic I want you, a team do the research, maybe tell us the pro and con and what will happen to us, right? So the other thing is that, is the tablet computer taking over the whole computing platform? Probably not, but the question is that can a non-computer science student or CE student, a typical, say, HCOM student, can we do a research to see if someone can go through the whole college experience using tablet only? Well, probably not, but I would love to have a team do some survey, look at the people actually use the computer and concluded yes or no, why. They are how many programming language that has ever actually used and invented and used in the industry? Anyone have a rough number? It's about 1,000. It's about 1,000 different programming languages. What are the kind of small set of programming languages people use today to do popular language people do today? Python is very popular. There's maybe a dozen. Python, we still have people use C, C++, C#, Visual Basic, Java, JavaScript, PHP, Ruby on Rails. So the research is doing kind of what's the most popular different industry and tell us why that particular language is because just a historical reason or it has some special feature. That would be an interesting research. Adobe have a bad habit of taking your money away. Lots of it, right? So every year they tweak their format a little bit. They will charge $1,000. The latest one is CS 6.0. So it's an interesting comparison between 6.0 and maybe to 5.0, 5.5. So should you upgrade to list of the important feature? Compare that to a professional media designer and give us a consulting decision. Say no, we don't have to spend $1,000, or yes, you have to. So these are just examples. So later on in the semester, probably 2 weeks from now, the thing I want you to come up with the kind of 3 questions you are dying to know. Then we will make each team answer one of these questions. We'll do the presentation at the end of the semester. Okay. So I will take the next few minutes. So can one of the teams share with me the top 3 time management strategy you concluded? Anyone? Go.
Engaging through Google Circles and Google Video Chat.
I don't. So avoid. I mean the time management. Time management strategy. So what are the top 3 time management strategy your team reached conclusion?
Basically like actually working with each other, like finding a proper scheduling for each other.
Okay.
It's hard to get 6 people together though.
So that's why the utilization of the actual video chats, so whoever can't be with us can be with us, be that they aren't physically there.
Okay.
And then actually having a proper Dropbox shared with each one of us, so we can actually share all of our
so you're talking about if you want to work with your team using the Google Hangout, right? Google Hangout or shared document. Okay, that's great. Any other strategy that more of your kind of personal time management strategy?
One of my group members said that they had synced their Google Calendar to set up alerts and send them to their phone to remind him his assignments due. And another said that he would trick himself and say that it was due the day before, so that he would be all worried and get done, and then it would be already done for the due date.
I highly discourage. There are people, they take the clock at 5 minutes early. So kind of remind themselves they need to reach there 5 minutes early, because they are always 5 minutes late. The problem is that the statistic is the people you put your clock 5 minutes early, you know you're 5 minutes early, you continue to 5 minutes late. So the better habit is that if there's a deadline, the habit is to actually hit the deadline. Don't try to trick yourself. It doesn't work well. But that is a strategy. You can try it. It may work for you. Other strategy, time management.
Complete assignments and tasks before the due date.
That's right. I think that's maybe kind of in a nutshell is that know exactly when is the due date and arrange your time to block your time before the due date, and you know exactly when do you do it. Maybe see if I can show you a little bit of is Kate here yet? Let me show you my calendar. So whenever I promise someone I will do something, I will block my calendar. I just do a color scheme. I schedule my time from about 7 in the morning till about 11:30 at night. Okay, you don't want to block every hour. You need to have some white space, right? But I know quite precisely what I do every day. Every Sunday night, after I watch 60 Minutes, and any of you watch 60 Minutes? It's a good good TV show, and whenever you look at a commercial come during the 60 Minutes, you know those are for pretty old people. They talk about all these old people's type of problems. Anyway, so Sunday night after that, I spend an hour. I look at my previous week. Anything I didn't finish, I move it to next week. So not only I put in my to-do list, I actually block out time. I know this email I need to spend 20 minutes to do. I will put it there and block out 20 minutes. Why is that important? Because then that will help you to budget your time. Because we all have too many things to do. So the only way I can keep myself honest to my schedule is if I see, for example, I know I'm in trouble, right? I double check, so I need to move things away. So know exactly when this deadline, block out the actual time ahead, have a plan. That's crucial. And I want you to implement that strategy, your personal strategy or your strategy for your team in your team discussion. There are many teams because people want to be a nice guy, so they don't want to interrupt others. But an agenda, or say, we only have half an hour to discuss this, so we want to allocate 5 minutes to small talk, how's your dog, all that. Then we have 10 minutes to talk about deciding this issue, and 5 minutes to that. We'll conclude at this time. So practice that time management in your own meeting and in your own schedule is crucial, because we all will be running out of time, because in our industry things are changing fast. Okay? So you can see I have an interesting Monday. So I schedule all the way. My graduate students, they schedule online chat with me, so I know how they're doing. So I study at night from 10 to about midnight. So they all putting their chat session with me. So each one is one graduate student. And so I only use Skype to chat with them because I can take care of 5 of them at the same time. So I know precisely what's going on, and I highly recommend you to block out the more important task you are dealing with, the more precise time you want to block out your time. So this will allow me to say, well, say Friday afternoon, someone say, can you do this for me on that day? I can easily tell that person, no, I don't have time. So Google Calendar is a good tool. I sync with my phone, so I know exactly what I need to do. So here. So if you can see, for example, I'm putting an hour every week to do my weekly planning. Last Sunday night, I looked at the week before to see anything I missed. Block out time the week afterwards. Later this semester, we're going to talk about the 7 habits for highly effective people. A great book, easy read. So one of the things I really learned from that is to prioritize. And I would think we should do that if you want to be a successful professional. Okay, that's that.
I have a question.
Sure.
You have a block out time there for that can make up for stuff that got, we got emergencies that come up. Take away from our time. We should have a reserve time.
So the idea is that you can change this. If something you shouldn't do, you move the block to the future. So you never want to schedule your time. You have zero empty time. you can only schedule up to about 80% of your productive time. Okay. I work for about 9 hours for the university every day. I'm sitting on the board of 2 startups, so I put in about 10 hours a week for them, and I block out some time for my kids. So every night when they practice their instrument, I will sit next to them and read. So I block out that time and usually don't let other things bother me, because to me that's important. They are growing up very fast. You know, a couple more years, they're gone like you. Okay, so that's that. Let's come back to our agenda. So we are honored and privileged to have the next professor come and talk to us about her study, her research field, the classes she teaches, and the capsule she advised, and kind of the general learning and trend in game development. Many of you already know Dr. Kate Lockwood, wonderful faculty, teaching a lot of game and programming classes. And well, let's welcome Kate Lockwood. Because today, right around Kate finished her talk, I will leave. So just go on the iLearn. This week assignment is pretty simple. Just preview a couple of slides for next week, and spend probably an hour blogging what you have learned this week, including from and also your conclusion of your group discussion. Okay. So that's pretty simple assignment today. So I will probably leave without saying goodbye. Not that I don't like you.
Okay, so alright, I can talk pretty loud, but if you can't hear me, let me know. Alright, so as Dr. Tom mentioned, I'm Kate Lockwood, and so I didn't know that I was supposed to talk about the future of game development, so I focused this presentation all on me. But if you have questions about game development, you can ask about that too. I'm just, I guess more of an expert on myself. So a little bit about my background. I grew up in the Midwest, and I went to college at the University of Michigan, where I got a bachelor's in computer engineering. And then I stayed at Michigan to get a master's in information science. And then I went to Northwestern in Chicago, where I got my PhD in computer science. And my research for my PhD was in artificial intelligence and cognitive science. All right, so what do I teach? I've probably seen most of you in one of these at some point or another. I teach a lot of the CST 231, which is the introductory programming class, and so that's the one that all of the CSIT majors have to take, and it's one of the options for CD students. It's C++, so I'd love to see any of you that are interested in some C++ take that class. And then I teach a lot of data structures, which is CST 238. That's the second one in the sequence for CSIT majors. I teach CST 320, which is Introduction to Game Design. It was offered for the first time last spring, so that's a spring-only class if you're interested. It's required for all the game development concentration CSIT students, but it can count as an elective for the other CSIT students. I teach an FYS class, and so for those of you that are transfer students, FYS here is first year seminar. All the freshmen have to take it. So I love it. Some people don't like to teach freshmen, but I love teaching freshmen. They're excited. They want to turn their assignments in on time, and they're just really, really excited to be at college. They still think professors are authority figures. It's great. So love teaching freshmen. And it's cool to see, now I've been doing it long enough that some of my freshmen are now in 300, so that's really cool to see. I mean, my previous freshmen, they're not still freshmen. Now that class is FYS 156, it used to be FYS 100, and the theme is technology and society. Next semester, for the first time, I'll be teaching a new class, CST 205. And I always forget what we decided on as a title, but I think it's something along the lines of multimedia programming. And that class will be an option for CSIT students to replace 201 on your ILP. You're still welcome to take 201 if that aligns really well with your career goals. 205 will cover the same kinds of things like media manipulation, manipulating sound files and video files and images, but we'll be using Python rather than like Dreamweaver and Photoshop and all of those. So it's a chance to still do the same kinds of things. We'll still be talking about, the composition of images and sound files and all that, but we'll just be doing the manipulation through Python instead of through those media manipulation programs. So I'm really excited about that class, and this will be my plug to get people to sign up. So if you haven't fulfilled that MLO for 201, I definitely would encourage some of you to check out 205. And let's see, what else do I teach? I sometimes teach 495 sections, so I definitely encourage you all to be on the lookout for CST 495 offerings. 495 is a special topics, and it kind of just is whatever is an exciting topic that someone wants to teach. I've taught them on iPhone programming and Python programming. So, I don't know, we're always throwing around ideas for new ones. If anyone has an idea of something they really, really want to learn, let us know and we can see if it works into the schedule. And then I also do capstone advising, and it's one of the favorite parts of my job. I love working with students. I just said I love working with freshmen, but I also really, really love working with students on their capstone projects. When you get a chance to really do an in-depth project that combines your interests and the faculty's interests and gives you a chance to bring everything you learned at CSUMB together on one project. So I kind of do everything from first semester freshmen to seniors about ready to graduate. And it's kind of fun. I get to see people at all different steps along the way. All right. So other CS stuff I'm interested in, just kind of a random dump of computer science related topics that I'm interested in. Mobile applications and developing for mobile platforms, games, all kinds of cool interactive possibilities that open up when you have a powerful computer in your pocket, especially since most of us probably carry around like 4 of them with us. I don't know, but between my phone and my iPad and my computer, I always have a ton of computing power with me at any particular moment. Artificial intelligence, which was my research in graduate school, and it's still something that I try to stay involved in the community and work on projects. So I have a couple collaborative projects that I work on with people at other institutions. And I'm always happy to talk about AI or to pass on papers or anything to anyone that's interested. And to help students that are interested in AI find ways to work it into their class projects, or to find ways to do AI-based internships or projects while you're in school. So like I know we have one CSUMB student who's really interested in machine learning, who's been working at Mbari in their autonomous underwater vehicle group for 1.5 years. So if AI is something that you're really, really interested in, oh yeah, hey, Philip is right there. So at some point, ask Philip about his internship at Mbari. But if anyone else is interested in machine learning or AI, come talk to me and we can find a way to get you a chance to explore AI while you're still in undergrad. So I think it's important because obviously it's my area of research, and by the time you get a PhD, pretty much everyone thinks that their area of research is like the most important. So I'm sure if you ask Satya, he'll say, oh, AI networking is where it's at, but he already had his turn, so I get to try to convince you that AI is where it's at. And then robotics, which is actually separate but very related to AI. Sometimes it seems like there should be more communication between the AI and robotics communities, but they're actually, in a large part, kind of their own little circles. But you can do AI completely separate from robotics, and you can do robotics completely separate from AI, but there is overlap. And then application of computer science to healthcare and CS in education, which kind of has 2 branches. So there's using computer science or technology to enhance education across the curriculum, which is something I'm really interested in. And then there's also computer science education, which is something else I'm really interested in. So believe it or not, we all actually want to do a really, really good job of teaching you guys computer science. And so there's a lot of people that actually study the best ways to teach computer science, the best ways to give assignments that encourage active learning, and different classroom techniques that really help students learn computer science. So if you're in one of my classes and I tell you, like, we're going to do pair programming, right? A lot of students are like, oh, she's just doing this to, like, make our lives miserable, right? But actually I'm doing it because there's science behind it. There's actual scientific evidence about how to do pair programming, and that students that learn programming with a pair programming partner actually learn it better and are able to apply it in more new situations than if they learned without a pair programming partner. Another thing that I'm really interested in is computer science. I call it evangelism, but it's really just getting the word out about computer science. So there aren't a lot of people that go into computer science, which you might not know sitting in this room. There's a ton of us, right? But a lot of people don't know about computer science, and it's kind of a hard sell to tell them that they should go to college and major in computer science. So I'm really interested in exposing kids in middle school, even elementary school, to the principles of computer science, so they at least know what computer science is and what a computer scientist does when they get to college, so they can make an informed decision. A lot of times, people's only exposure to computer science when you're little is like Microsoft Word, right? Which is not super compelling when you're thinking about career choices, when your other options are like James Bond, or like doctors you see on TV saving lives, or Law and Order, you see lawyers all the time, right? There's no show on TV that makes computer programming seem like an awesome, exciting career. So we have to do the work on our own to get the word out that computer science is an awesome, exciting career. So if that's something else you're interested in, there are actually a lot of opportunities for college students to mentor or work with high school students, middle school students, and elementary school students, doing things like teaching them some basic programming, working with them in robotics competitions, or even just hosting them on field trips to CSUMB and showing off some cool computer science stuff. So if you're interested in any of those things, you're welcome to come to my office anytime. Or, well, it's better if you come during office hours or email to set an appointment, because meetings, classes, we all get busy. But I'm always happy to make time for students that want to come chat about things I'm interested in. Okay, and so this is my office. I'm in room 172 of Lobby C. So reasons to come to my office are to talk about information systems or game development, because I can advise in both of those concentrations. And I kind of, I don't know, help out with those concentrations. So if you are planning on concentrating in either of those areas, you should come talk to me, and we can talk about your ILP, about classes to take, about internships to look for so that you're prepared to enter the job market. You can ask about any of the classes that I'm teaching if you just want to know whether or not you really want to take it. Or if you have an idea for a class that I'm not teaching that you'd like to see, one of those 495s, we can always talk about whether or not we can work that into the schedule. To discuss capstone ideas. So if you're, it might seem like capstone is super far away because you're only in the first semester of your junior year, but capstone will actually be here before you know it. And so if you wait until the first day of 400 and you're like, yeah, I'll just figure out a project at some point, right? You're going to go into the first day of 400 and Professor Cahill's going to say, okay, in 2 weeks you have to defend the proposal for your capstone. And you're going to be like, what? So it's always kind of good to have a vague idea of what you want to do before you get to 400. And so I'm always happy to talk to students about projects or other ideas for capstone. Any general computer science advising or questions? If you have questions, not just about your ILP, right? We tend to get sort of blinders on, like thinking that all the decisions we have to make relate to our ILP. But things about starting to think about your career, whether or not you want to go to graduate school after you graduate, what the different kinds of graduate school are, how you apply, what you need to be thinking about now. If you want to go to graduate school, what you need to be thinking about now if you want a job. Those are all kinds of things to think about. And especially here at CSUMB, where we don't have like a PhD program, it might be hard to kind of get a sense of what it's like to go into a PhD program or what it's like to go into a master's program. But if you're at all interested in graduate school, that's something that I'm always happy to help clarify what the difference is and how to think about getting ready for both those opportunities, and I'm sure other faculty are happy to talk about it as well. The other reason is that I have candy in my office. So if none of those other reasons were compelling enough, I have a SpongeBob bucket full of candy in my office, and if you're ever in my class, SpongeBob makes periodic appearances too. So yet another reason to come to my office or to sign up for one of my classes is there might be candy in it for you. So just an added bonus. And then other stuff that I do. So when I was in kindergarten, I ran into my teacher in the grocery store, and it blew my mind because I had no idea that she existed when I was not in her classroom, right? I was kind of like, whoa, she buys milk? Like, what's going on, right? So I think it is good to kind of keep in mind, though, that all of us, despite being the people that like show up regularly to torture you with lectures and homework, we have other things that we do in our lives that give us just as much pleasure as assigning homework, if not more. So I live here in Marina with my husband and our daughter, who's almost 2. And my cats show up also as examples in my class quite frequently, so you may have seen them before. And I like to enjoy the outdoors, run and hike, and play ultimate frisbee. So, if anyone ever wants to get this CSIT Ultimate Frisbee intramural team going, every year I try, never takes off, but if anyone's interested, there are at least 2 faculty members that are willing to play, so let us know. I like to read and just kind of generally, keep up with the exciting ideas and interesting things going on in the world. So that's what I do here and what I do when I'm not here. And then I always like to leave time for questions, so if people have questions about computer science, game development, information systems, classes, graduate school, cats, whatever. Happy to answer, yeah.
If you're going to do a game for your capstone, how do you scale it to be, I guess, attainable by the end of the capstone?
Right, that's a really good question. So scaling or scoping for capstone is a problem for almost any capstone. There's a tendency to bite off more than you can chew, and that especially with a game capstone. So what you want to do is think about, all right, so you're not going to do a full scale deployment of the next big first-person shooter probably, unless you have a lot of time. So you want to think about things that make it easier to develop. So maybe it's more of a casual game, something that you're just going to do, like Angry Birds, the next great thing, right? Where it's meant to be picked up and put down, so you don't have to do a lot of cutscenes and things like that. Another thing to do is to make just a portion of a bigger game. So like a demo level of the game that you would see, or a game minus some features, maybe just the one-player version of a game that would be either multiplayer or online. Something like that. So just scaling down the features or scaling down the platform is a good first start. It's still going to be hard, but just being really honest with yourself about what you can get done in a year, and hopefully your capstone advisor would help you with that, scoping out what you can do and bringing you back in when you start to talk about doing things that are going to take years and 20 dedicated programmers. All right. Yeah.
Do you ever know the difference between game development and game science?
So, okay, yeah. So here you have 2 options, right? You can do game development as a concentration in CSIT, or you can do interactive media and game design as an emphasis in CD. And the main difference is in CD, it's going to focus on the animation and building the elements of the game, so the background, the animating the characters, and sort of the interaction from that perspective. That's what drives it. You will still do some programming. Whereas on the computer science side, we're going to really approach it primarily from a programming perspective. So if you do the emphasis in communication design, I'm going to get the exact classes wrong because I'm not super familiar with the ILP, so there's a big asterisk by what I'm supposed to tell you that you should really check with someone that knows what they're talking about. But you take Professor Watson's interactive media classes where you'll learn, I believe, JavaScript in the first one, and then some Unity in the second one, which is new. We've just moved Unity into that class for this semester. And then I think in the fourth one, he's planning on continuing with Unity. If you go the communication, CSIT, computer science route, you'll take 320, which is that introduction to game design, which actually has no prerequisites. So you could take it as a communication design major too. And new for this spring, there will be no programming in that class. And then 306, which is game engine programming, which is an intense programming class about designing game engines. And then you'll take software engineering and do a game project in the software engineering class. So it's much more coding intensive from the computer science side. It's much more design and animation intensive from the CD side. And if you're really interested in game design or game development and you're not sure which track to take, we actually are recommending to a lot of the game students that you major in one and minor in the other. So you either major in computer science and minor in CD, or you major in CD and minor in computer science, just to have at least a minor in the other side of the sort of game development process. Yeah.
Do you play video games?
I do play video games, but I don't play like the cool video games. I play lame video games. If you've ever been in one of my classes where I talk about video games, I use Frogger as an example all the time because I love Frogger. Like
absolutely nothing wrong with that.
like old school Grand Theft Auto. So, it depends. Like, I try not to get into games that I know are gonna like suck my life. Like, you really only have to make the mistake where you play Civilization and then therefore do not engage in actual Civilization for a week once, right? And then after that you just know, wow, yeah, there's a new one out. Like, I'd really love to play that, but I have a child now, right? I can't completely shut out the world for a week at a time. Right. Cats, you put down a litter box and a bowl of food, they're good for a couple days, but. Yeah, is that a question? Oh,
You
yeah.
mentioned CST 205 coming up next semester, and Python would be something I've never heard of. Is that?
It's a programming language.
Programming language.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and so actually in 205, what?
I find it odd that it's replacing 201.
Pardon?
I find it odd that it's replacing 201 or instead of, or?
Yeah, so if you're computer science, it can replace 201. For CD, you want to talk to your advisor and see what they recommend, because I think like if you're graphic design, they would still really prefer that you take 201 because you need those skills. For some of the other emphases, 205 might be sufficient.
Because I dropped 201 because I was kind of sussing out of it.
Oh, okay.
Pretty much did all the computing. Still doing what the audio and video parts. Who does?
Yeah, we'll be dealing with audio and video. Yeah, we will. Mm-hmm. Yeah, but we'll be doing it through, we'll be using Python to manipulate the files as opposed to using an existing program. So we'll be writing our own programs to manipulate the files instead of using an existing sound editor or video editor. So if what you want is sort of production level video editing skills, you probably still would want to do 201 or one of those types of classes. But if you just want to understand how video files work and how they can be manipulated, then 205 would work as well. And 205 will be taught with no programming prerequisite. So even if you've never done programming before, you're welcome in 205. And I think that Python is a really, really easy language to learn. So putting that out there. All right, Freddie, do you have a question?
I was just going to ask how big of a knowledge base on Python did you have?
Yeah, so you don't need to know any Python and you don't need to know any programming before you get into the class. We'll actually learn all the programming you need in that class. So if you already know like C++ or something, you'll have kind of a leg up because you'll already understand the basic like loops and branches and stuff like that. Yeah.
So is there any like advanced Python?
No. So there was a 495 class, but we might offer it again. I think if we offered it again, it would be in a slightly different format. We offered it like a self-paced kind of online thing for only 1 unit. And I think it's probably more than 1 unit worth of work. So we're looking at offering it again, but we're looking into like exactly what the format for that would be. However, if you want to learn Python, there are a lot of really great free resources out there for learning Python. So one is Code Academy, which has some online interactive tutorials that will teach you Python and JavaScript and CSS and all that good stuff. So I think like Andrew Coyle is using them in internet programming this semester, but that's another place you could go for some online tutorials. The other thing, if there's a technology skill or a new programming language that you want to pick up, a really great resource is the library has a subscription to the Safari tech books online. So they're ebooks, you can access them directly from your computer from anywhere by logging in through the CSUMB library. And they have any book that's been published by Safari in the last 3 years that's available electronically. So they have lots of books for learning things like if you want to learn Android development, if you want to learn iPhone development, if you want to learn Python, if you want to learn C#, like all kinds of things. And they're free, so it doesn't cost you anything to go in and log in and read one of the books and play around with some of the examples. Which is a great way to just, if you need to just pick up a new skill for something like a capstone or a class project. What else? All right, well, thanks for letting me take a part of class, and come visit me if you have any questions.